Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Foreign Investment Fridays. I'm your host, Hector Aguilar from eXp Realty here in California. And on today's podcast, we'll be diving into one of the hottest real estate markets, the Riviera Maya. Whether you're looking for long-term rental opportunities or exploring growing demand for short-term vacation rentals, this region is full of exciting potential for investors just like you. From the stunning beaches of Tulum to the lively streets of Playa del Carmen, we'll be discussing how you can take advantage of the booming real estate market here in Tulum and Riviera Maya. We'll cover key insights on property types, expected returns, and everything you need to know to make smart investment choices in the Riviera Maya. Stay tuned as we break down the best strategies for long-term stability and short-term rental income so that we can help you maximize your portfolio in one of the most desirable locations of the world. Thank you and welcome. Today I have the pleasure of welcoming my colleague from eXp Realty in Mexico, Hector Jimenez with Trusted Realty. How you doing, Hector?
Good, and you, brother?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I want to first thank you for taking some time to spend with us and our audience in terms of providing some valuable information with either long-term or short-term rental properties or investment opportunities in the Riviera Maya, which includes Tulum, Playa del Carmen, obviously I think it's Puerto Morelos,
Puerto Morelos, yeah.
Cancun, and other regions of the Riviera Maya. So I appreciate you getting on here, Hector.
No, thank you very much. I'm very grateful that you're sharing a little bit of your audience and your time so we can add value to whoever's looking at this. Tocayo, I don't know if that's very popular in the United
It
States.
is. Right? I mean, I'm Mexican, I'm Latino, and we know Tocayo means that we share the same name. So Tocayo, it's exactly. A pleasure to have you on. As we get started, Hector, let's talk a little bit about yourself, a little bit about Trusted Realty and what you're doing down there in Mexico and how long you've been in the business. So share that with us.
Definitely. So we started here first as investors, right? We recently moved from Canada. Actually, we were living in British Columbia, and then we moved to Alberta. So we're very familiar to that market, the demographics and whatnot, like everything that is involved in the culture, Canadian culture, right? Okay. And we started investing. So we went like a little bit sideways, and when we started in the real estate, because I know most agents, they start with the licensing, they started with the sales or leasing properties. We started actually purchasing properties, right?
Nice.
So we wanted to do that because, number one, we want to put boots on ground and see actually what it feels to purchase a property from abroad, because we did it from abroad. We did it from Canada.
I see.
And number two, after managing our properties, getting rental income, we started also getting a lot of interest from people and clients in Canada. Okay. So that's what pushed us to come down to Mexico and actually become agents here.
Fantastic. Right? Now, in Canada, did you guys practice real estate in Canada?
Yes, myself.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, you mentioned something that in Mexico it's a little foreign is licensing, right? There are some states. I know that AMPIT, which is the Asociación Profesional de Inmobiliarios Nacional, they're pushing to have some classes and some licensing, but not all states are licensed. So it's good to know that we're working with someone who, number one, has actually purchased investment properties, but number two, more importantly, I think is licensed and knows the ethics that it requires to be a professional realtor to our consumers. So that's fantastic, Hector.
Definitely.
Thank you for that. Let's go ahead and just dive right in, right? One of the things that we wanted to talk about today is why invest in Riviera Maya, Mexico, right? Tell us a little bit about why investing in Riviera is a good option for investors.
Perfect. Let's do that. So I have a presentation ready here. It has a few points already that I want to talk about. Well, first of all, I want to be straightforward. I'm not very smart, so I like numbers, I like facts, and that's the way I work with buyers, right?
Well, I think investors will like that because investors, they definitely like numbers. So if we can show them numbers, I think more investors will definitely be willing to invest in Riviera Maya.
Definitely. So number one, there's a few micro projects that I'm pretty sure you've heard about, but I mean, let's just pretend we don't know anything about Mexico, right? The first one and the main one that for me I was very surprised when I heard about it back in, I think it started in 2019. So as a project, as a dream, it started in 2019, the Mayan train, right?
Mayan train.
So this train, it has around 1,500 kilometers and is going to go around all the Peninsula Yucatan. Okay. So starting from Campeche, it's going to go all the way down to Mérida, but it's connecting to main points, and this train has two purposes: to drive tourism
Mm-hmm.
and also to get that connectivity with products, right? So transportation of products. So it's a huge economy driver into the region.
So,
And surprise, yeah,
so
go
it
ahead. Sorry.
sounds like it's going to be primarily used to connect more of those local towns and cities in the whole peninsula, and also serve as a resource to provide goods and services that are going to be needed to serve all these growing
Exactly.
populations in this area. That's awesome.
Exactly. So it's an amazing project. Just like a very amazing fact. They built it in around 2.5 years.
Okay.
It still needs some touch ups, and they still need to finalize a few stations.
Okay.
But right now it's fully operating, right? So
So
that's
is it
amazing.
already carrying passengers from one point to another?
Yes, around 40. Is it 40 between 42 to 45,000 passengers a day?
Oh wow,
So that's
that's impressive.
that's amazing, right?
Yeah.
It's the speed at it goes. It's first world country.
What are
even
what are
though
the main
we're
what are the main stops that it has right now on its route? I think that's important to
right
know.
now. Yes, right now. So let's say you're coming from the United States, from Canada, or even Europe. You're going to arrive to the Cancun International Airport or to Tulum. That's another micro project that we're going to talk about. But
Okay.
let's say you arrive in Cancun, so it's going to connect you all the way to Merida. So that's going to be like a 6 hour, how do you say, like transportation in the train,
Okay.
travel. Sorry, and then it's going to go all the way down to Tulum right now.
Okay.
Right. So we still need to work on Mahawal. We still need to work all the way to Bacalar and those stations, right?
Okay, nice.
They're finishing right now. So I'm pretty sure this year is going to be. The president said that by this year should be 100% ready. Even if it's a few months delay for me 3 years for making this huge project, that's incredible, right? You hear a lot in North America. That's
I know
even
I know that the Mayan train has kind of been a little bit of a big buzz over the last few years.
Yes.
And my wife and I, we're family. We travel down to Riviera Maya all the time. Actually, we stay at Vidanta, one of our locations that we love to spend some time there. And I know it's been kind of like the talk of the town for the last couple of years. So I'm glad to know that it's open, and man, to carry 45,000 passengers daily, I'm sure it's already making an economic impact in the local markets. What else are they working on?
Well, we already touched on the Tulum International Airport.
Mm-hmm.
So also that airport right now, it's exceeding expectations. We're going to close the year with around 1.8 million arrivals from that airport only. And we're talking.
Are you talking in terms of passengers, like 1.8 million passengers?
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
That's awesome.
We're closing that on winter. That's what we're expecting. Crossing fingers.
Nice.
And in Cancun, we have around 7 million a year.
I see.
So yeah, you have
adding another close to 2 million travelers to the region now.
Expecting to get to 5 million by the end of the fifth year. So around 1 million every year, right?
And right now, are most international airports already arriving in Tulum, like LAX, Atlanta, Miami? Like what destinations or what airports are flying into Tulum?
It's pretty much United States. It's covered right now, right?
Okay.
I heard that for this winter we're gonna start getting Calgary, north of Canada. So it's kind of getting to that side of Canada, North America. And even China at some point by the end of this year.
As a point of reference, Hector, what is the distance between the Cancun airport and Tulum airport? Like how much time distance are we talking about for the both destinations, right? Because if you're going to go fly into Cancun, what's the difference between flying to Cancun or Tulum, depending on your destination, right? What's the time difference?
So it's going to be around like flight time or driving time?
No, driving time.
So
I know that, for example, like when I fly into Cancun before, it would take me at least almost an hour and 45 minutes, if not 2 hours, to get down to Tulum. So is that still about the same? I mean, it's going to save us 2 hours difference and probably going to make it a lot easier to get to the southern points of Tulum down south more, right?
Yes. Driving distance from one point to the other, I want to say, depending on how you're driving, if you're doing some Mexican driving, Mexican style, should be around 1 hour 45 minutes, right?
Gotcha.
The most, and because it gets a little bit of traffic in high season, but if you're driving low season, it's 1 hour.
So
right?
I mean, if you're visiting some regions or hotels in the Tulum area, it definitely is probably more convenient to fly into the Tulum airport.
100%, 100%. Yeah.
So talk to me about some of the other projects that we're looking at here.
Yeah, so those two right now are fully operating. The Jaguar Park. So this is they just launched it in September. So it's now operating as we speak, right?
Okay.
This is going to be a combination of taking care of nature. You're going to have a Jaguar and reserve of all the nature that Tulum has to offer.
Okay.
You also have the entrance to the beach. You're going to have a lot of natural pathways that you can go and bike. You can rent a bike or rent an ATV, and it's just a natural reserve that it's meant to take care of Tulum itself, the nature, and also to drive tourism, right?
Okay. And is it located in the Tulum region?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, you have the main Carretera Federal.
Yep.
Right. And then you have Avenida Coba. So Avenida Coba is very popular in Tulum because that avenida is going to take you to the hotel zone.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be in Avenida Coba, just right before getting to the hotel zone and right in front of the ocean. So it's beautiful. It's amazing.
So would that be primarily located near like the pyramids, on the side of the pyramids? Like where would it be located?
Exactly. You're going to have access to the pyramids through the Jaguar Park.
Oh, nice. And that's already open, correct?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
And yeah, so I know there's a Central Park in New York. This is going to be almost 7 times bigger than that.
Oh, wow.
Just in if we want to compare it in size, right?
Nice. So it'll be a nice natural preserve, and it'll help also drive tourism.
Yes, it's beautiful. So next time you
go ahead. Sorry, I was gonna say, what about the Go Grant outlet? What is that about?
So that's a very big entertainment outlet. Basically, you're gonna find all sort of stores, all sort of entertainment. We have a ski what do you call ski park?
Okay.
Ski park.
A water ski park?
And also, yes, both. So we have a water park.
Okay.
And a nice I forgot how to say it. And so it's gonna have multiple stores, also like cinemas. Everything is gonna be there, and this one is fully operated. Right now, I couldn't find any pictures of how it looks, and hence why I'm showing the render. But right now, it's operating.
It's already open. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What I'm excited about is Formula One, my brother. I mean, Formula One has been kind of expanding their markets, right? This past year, they did Las Vegas. I want to say that they have Miami on the map here. And tell me a little bit about Formula One in Mexico. What's up with that?
Well, this one, we don't have anything set up yet. Like it's still on the works. I'm thinking by 2025, we're going to have an exact location, but this is coming. So we know it's coming. We don't know when, but we know it's coming. So by 2025, we're going to have more information about that one. And the last one basically is the Nichupte Bridge. This is only infrastructure, but it's going to shorter the time between Cancun and the hotel zone and we're going to talk about that if you're looking to purchase in Cancun, the budget it's a little bit higher than other regions because the hotel zone it's already taken. You have all the beachfronts and the pricing point in there. We're talking about $600,000 to $700,000.
Right.
So if you're looking for something $250,000, that's going to be in Cancun. And if you want to drive from Cancun to the beach, that's going to be around a 45-minute drive, 35-minute drive.
Gotcha.
So with this new bridge, it's going to cut it out in half.
Cut down the driving time.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's always been one of my maybe one of our thorn in our sides, right? Whenever we're down in Cancun, it takes us about an hour and 35 minutes down to get to Riviera Maya and to Puerto Morelos and Playa del Carmen and all those locations. It's almost like 2 hours to get to Tulum, so it's a little bit of a drive.
Yeah, definitely. So this is going to help a lot, right?
That's awesome. So let's
Hmm.
talk a little bit
So
more about why investing in Riviera Maya.
so those were the macro projects. I know we took a lot of time talking on that, but we're just going to finalize with this. This is basically the bread and butter, like all the numbers that investors want to hear before actually looking at properties, right?
Correct. Absolutely. They want to make sure
So
that there's infrastructure, that there's demand, that there's
definitely,
activities, and that there's going to be an actual need for their rentals, whether it's a two-bedroom, whether it's a villa or whatever they decide to invest in. They want to make sure that there's demand for that, right? They want to ensure that they're going to get a return on investment. So thanks for sharing those
of
numbers.
course, of course. So now, when we're talking about visitors, I already mentioned only in Cancun we have 7 million visitors, and this is not like connection flights. I mean, we have 12 million flights or actual people coming into the airport, but only 7 million are the people that stay in Cancun,
Gotcha.
right?
Okay.
So main drivers, economy drivers in Riviera Maya, as most people know, is tourism and is obviously culture and real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about economic input yearly, we close 2023 with around $20 billion. So that's what we closed that year on economic input. And also something that is very important to talk about when we're getting to rentals, because it's not only short-term rentals but long-term rentals, is going to be the main driver is due to the population growth.
Right.
Right. So right now we have around 12%, give it or take, between Tulum, Riviera Maya, Cancun. If you want to hear about a bigger number, we have Tulum. In the last 10 years, we had 171% of population growth in 10
Wow.
years.
That's
So
just been over
that's,
maybe 3 or 4 years, because I know Tulum has started to
yeah,
explode since about just before the pandemic, like in 2018, 2019. Tulum was already on the map, but I remember when I took my vacations down there, it was pretty pristine. There was not a lot of little micro hotels or boutique hotels. And this last visit I went to in 2022, I mean, there was boutique hotels like you have no idea. I mean, it's just
everywhere. Yeah.
so I can
Yeah.
definitely see that over the last few years, 171% growth. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's growing like crazy.
Right.
Now, also, I know a lot of people. I mean, Mexico is beautiful. You have a lot of places that you can go and invest in properties. We have Cabos, we have Puerto Vallarta,
Mhm.
but something that we have to take into consideration is that 40% of the flights that are coming into Mexico from international flights, 40% of those are staying in the Riviera Maya, or they coming to the Riviera Maya, right? So that for me, that's close, right?
Well, I mean, I think let's be real. I mean, right now, I've been to many locations in Mexico, and I gotta be honest with you. There's just nothing compares to the Caribbean waters of that region. The crystal
Mm.
clear turquoise waters. The opportunity to swim with some manta rays and just go to like to Cozumel or Isla Mujeres. I mean, it's just beautiful, man. And even though those other destinations do have things to offer, without a doubt, the Caribbean waters of the Riviera Maya and that entire region is definitely, bar none, one of the best. So I can see why most people want to go to that area.
And not only that, Tocayo, but also let's take as an example Cabos, right? I'm pretty sure you've visited Cabos, you've seen some properties over there.
Yes.
I mean, what can you get for $250,000? Where is it going to be located, right?
It's not going to be anywhere close to the popular regions. It's probably going to be maybe a little bit more like in San Jose del Cabo, kind of outside the outskirts of the city. If
Yes,
if you can find something in that price point. If you get anything
exactly,
closer to like the San Jose del Cabo or Cabo San Lucas, I mean, you're talking, strong six, seven, 800, even a million in
yeah,
some places. So yeah, it's definitely expensive.
exactly. So hence why a lot of buyers or even agents are telling me, well, is it still a good opportunity to invest in Riviera Maya? It's still as good as 5 years ago. I mean,
Right.
it's not as good as 5 years ago, right? But it's still there, and it's still the best time to purchase something.
Absolutely. Speaking of choices, right? One of the biggest questions that we get all the time is, can foreign buyers buy in Mexico, right? We've had different experiences. I've been in this industry 32 years, and I used to go into the Rosarito and Ensenada markets. I used to go to San Felipe and San Marcos, go to Puerto Peñasco and Sonora, and Mazatlan as well. So I know that foreigners can purchase. There's a certain process, but I know that's the number one question. And how do they protect their investment, right? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Definitely. So buyers, yeah, they can purchase. Foreigners, they can purchase in the Riviera Maya, no problem. They have to do it through a fideicomiso. If they want to buy a vacation property or a resident, like a main residence property, or if they're purchasing less than 5 properties, I would recommend a fideicomiso. So that's the easiest way. You save money on accountants. You don't have to pay on like a lot of money on taxes. The other way is with a business, like corporation business.
A corporation, correct.
A corporation, right? It's not going to be a normal LLC that you use in the United States, but it's going to be something set up here in Mexico.
Correct.
Now, a lot of people think that that's way more convenient, although it depends. It's case to case.
Right.
As I said, if you're going to purchase more than 5 properties, or you're going to buy like a big building with 12 units, definitely you have to do it through an LLC.
Right.
Otherwise, it's gonna cost you a lot of money and time, because you have to file taxes every year. You have to pay your accountant every year. So it's not worth it. Use it through a fideicomiso, and it's safer.
So it sounds like there's 2 different options, right? If you're maybe buying onesie, twosies, maybe 3 to 4, investment properties, you could probably buy them in a fideicomiso, and it'd be probably more manageable.
Yeah.
But if you're being a big investor, you're going to buy more units, and you see an opportunity to invest more of your hard-earned money, so you can get a better cash-on-cash return. It certainly sounds like an LLC, or what we call una sociedad anónima de capital variable. That's what an LLC in Mexico is going to be an option for you, because it'll be better for taxes. It'll be easier to manage. So there are ways for foreigners to buy property in Mexico, and that's always reassuring, right? And look, the truth is that Mexico understands that foreign investment has been a huge catapult in their GDP, right? Especially in tourism. And so they've made leaps and bounds, because I used to be in the market back in the mid 90s. It has completely changed, and it has been changed so that they protect investors' investment, their capital, their earnings, so that there isn't any loss, because they realize the importance of foreign investment. So believe me, you'll be protected. You'll stand protected. And I know Hector has probably a good team of attorneys, CPAs that can help you set that up if you do decide that you want to invest in Mexico. So let's get moving here.
And I want to close with something, because I get a lot of buyers who are like comparing different options, even with the United States. One of the main concerns is the cost of it, right? I don't want to touch on the cost, and I don't want to give numbers, but the very common question or objection is like, why should I pay more to own my own property, right? But let's just take into consideration as well that taxes here, we're talking about 0.005%. So it's way less than taxes that you already pay in the United States or Canada. So your overall cost of ownership is still lower, even though you're paying a fideicomiso, it's still lower, and you're still making way more profit. So I just wanted to mention that, because I'm pretty sure a lot of your audience are going to start asking, like, why should I pay for owning property?
Right. And look, those are questions that we can get on, that we can answer. And if we get on a one-on-one Zoom with you, if you have additional questions, we can make an appointment. We can put you on the calendar and really break down what those costs are, and do a comparison between what you're paying now and how much more or less you'll pay in Mexico, even if you need to own it in a fideicomiso. So don't be afraid of that. We'll do that in a private consultation. We don't have the time to kind of break it down in this podcast, but we're certainly open to sitting with you and going over those numbers so that you're informed and you make a good decision, right? I know we started to touch a little bit on price points, right, between Cabo and Tulum, but let's talk about starting price points. I mean, I have heard, and I'm sure many have watched videos on TikTok and Instagram of amazing, studios or 2-bedroom condos that are starting at 250, 300. Tell us what the reality is right now. I know the market has changed from, 2-3 years ago, because there seems to be more demand, but there's still a good entry point. Tell us a little bit about starting price points.
Definitely. So it was going to depend a lot on the region, because right now it changes a lot. When you're looking at Cancun, you're still in those high $250,000 for a studio or 1 bedroom, right? When you're going down to Playa del Carmen, you're still going to find something around 200, 189, but we're talking about studios, 37 square meters. And if you really want to get those like good opportunities for the future for that long-term investment, we go to Tulum. And because it still needs a little bit of infrastructure, the price point can even start at $150,000, $130,000 on a pre-sale, right? All these numbers that I'm giving, it's on a pre-sale. And if you're looking for something that it's already built, we can just add around $50,000 more, $80,000 more than the numbers that I already gave. So yeah, all the way from 130 to 250. That for me, it's a great starting point, right?
Right. So I know you mentioned 37 square feet. That equals to about 400 square feet. I put that in the chat on our channels. Obviously, that might seem small, but as a reference, just think of 400 square feet is typically the size of a 2-car garage here in the U.S., right? And we've known that ADUs are starting at about 400 square feet just because most people are converting their garages to living space. So a one-bedroom studio, a one-bedroom or a studio is going to be the size of that. It's going to give you your bedroom, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a real nice kind of open kitchen, living room situation. But that's your entry point. Right? There's tons of other options that are available depending on what your budget is, right? And obviously, it's going to be important to know what you want to invest your money on and what's going to get you a bigger return on investment. Yes, maybe it might be easier to enter the market at 250 or 200, but is it going to give you the biggest bang for your buck? And that's what we're going to talk about next. So let's talk about that a little bit. I think that one of the questions that most people are going to have is like, what are the good markets to invest in, right?
Of course. And let's just go back there to my presentation. I'm just going to show you very quick. I have multiple markets just so you can have here it is. So we have, Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Tulum. Those are going to be the main economic drivers here in Riviera Maya. If you want to purchase something that is solid, these are the markets.
Okay.
But then we're going to move to other opportunities. So let's say Puerto Morelos. So there's something for everyone, right?
Right.
So Puerto Morelos is a growing expat community, basically. So if you're an expat, you want to retire, you want to have those beautiful oceans and being close to the beach, Puerto Morelos is the best place to be, right? Okay. Then we go to Puerto Aventuras. Puerto Aventuras is also for people who wants to retire, but they're not like they're still young families. They want to be inside of a private. So this is a huge private community.
Okay.
Most of the people speak English only or French, not a lot of Mexicans, right?
Oh wow!
And if you have your own yacht, if you want to be 100% private, so this is going to be Puerto Aventuras. Right?
I noticed that they have marinas and things of that nature. I know that it's a growing community for year-round sailors, and so that's good to know that there's something for them as well.
Exactly, and then this is like the last gem of the Riviera Maya. Mahahual is basically what it was Tulum in COVID season, right? So Mahahual is going to be the next spot to be. Right now, they have a budget of $60 million to do just a renovation in the Malecon. So they're going to do a big renovation there. Okay. And the projects that are already available there that I'm going to show you at the end, because I have one of them, and you can count it with the palm of your hand. Like it's only, I want to say like 4 available developments right now. So it's a perfect time if you're looking for that.
It seems to be like groundbreaking, right? You're at the very, scratching the very surface of the new developments that are going to go in there. I noticed that in the picture you have cruise ships. Is Mahahual a location where cruise ships dock?
Yes, the biggest cruise ships in the world, they're arrived there. So that's one. And number 2, you're going to have a Mayan train station. Right now it's not operating, but this is going to be one of the last stations. Okay. So you have the Mayan train, and then you have also, Campeche International Airport. So even if you don't want to arrive to Tulum, you can arrive to the other side of Campeche, and then you're going to have the train station. So the accessibility is going to be super easy.
Nice.
Exactly.
Fantastic. So, and in terms of, it looks like we have some markets that people can choose from. One of the things that most investors want to do, right, is they want to get in early. And even if you're not that adventurous as an investor, pardon me, and you want to get into a little bit more mature markets, there's still other opportunities in some of these other communities. So tons of things to choose from as an investor. So
Yeah.
as an investor, one of the things that they want to talk about, right, is what's better. Is long-term rental more profitable, or is short-term rental more profitable, right? Let's talk a little bit about long-term rentals and short-term rentals. What are you seeing in the market right now?
Well, I'm very surprised because now you see people here coming as digital nomads, living
Mhm.
for 6 months. They
Right,
don't come anymore for a few days or a few weeks. They come
right.
here for 6 months. And not only that, there's a lot of opportunity. As me myself, I moved out from Canada as a Mexican, and I'm also Canadian, and I brought my family here, right?
Okay.
So as me, there's a lot of people that are doing the same thing. They want to come to Riviera Maya, young families or young professionals,
Mhm.
not to vacation. They want to come here to live. So
Right.
that's huge. Now you see, you used to see the short-term rentals here in Playa del Carmen, close to the Fifth Avenue, the
Mhm.
most transited avenue in Playa del Carmen, all of them being short-term rentals. Now you
Gotcha.
see them as long-term rentals, and they're sometimes being more profitable because your expenses are lower, right? When we're talking about a property manager working on a short-term rental, it can be up to 30%.
Gotcha.
If you use the same property manager for a long-term rental, it goes down all the way to 10%.
Okay.
So
So
your
financially, it makes a little
NOI
bit more
increases.
sense.
Yes,
It could be less cost for a long-term rental, right? Obviously,
exactly.
the downside to a long-term rental is that maybe you don't have the opportunity to make a little bit more income, but at least you know for a fact that it's you're going to go into a yearly lease. You're going to have for a sure tenant every single year. You're going to have less
Yeah.
hassles in terms of getting new tenants in, right? And mention
Yes.
something that's absolutely important for an investor is property management companies, right? It sounds like there's already some in place. There's probably many other
Mhm.
property managers in the region that you can work with. So long-term
Yes.
rental, even though it may not be the most popular in terms of like Airbnb and short-term rentals, it still could be a profitable decision for you to go long-term rental. So it's good to know that it's also available, right?
Definitely. Definitely.
As we mentioned, short-term rentals is kind of like the buzz right now, right? People are
Yeah.
purchasing properties in so many parts of the world, the desert, the oceans, the mountains. They're fixing them up, they're furnishing them, and they're putting them into short-term rental pools, right? So we
Yes.
have to talk about it, right? Because even in that region, there's a demand for short-term rental. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Definitely. So there's two types of short-term rentals you can do. Here in Riviera Maya, you have the normal short-term rental. You buy a property, you just get a property manager, or you manage it yourself, right? So that's
Okay.
pretty common. Then we have the condo hotels. So condo hotel is basically a property management in-house, and they rent the whole building as a unit, and they add a little bit more of services and amenities that is going to drive way more income to the property, and they're going to share all those profits between the owners, right? So those are the two types. What I want to recommend if someone's looking at as a business, only as a business, you do your normal short-term rental because that's the best way to do it. Now, if you're looking at it as a something that you can also use a couple of times of the year, let's say 3 months out of the year you want to use it, and the other 9 months you want to get some profit, do a condo hotel because that's going to be a stress-free, hassle-free business, and that you can also use at the same time, right? So those are the two options that we have now. When talking about profitability, well, in let's talk about the main markets: Tulum, Playa del Carmen, and Cancun. So the ROI between Playa del Carmen and Cancun, we're still very similar, between 8% to 12%, right? When we're talking about Tulum right now, that's going to be a way different topic. Like we can talk for 2 hours about this, but because of the market being super like, I don't want to say flooded, but you see a lot of studios, a lot of one bedrooms, because everyone wanted to be into the market, right? So right now, as today, is going to be around 4 to 6%. If you get an 8% on a studio, you're really doing a great job, or probably you're managing it yourself. You don't have that expense of paying a property manager,
Correct.
right?
Correct. And that's
But
only because you mentioned
otherwise,
that,
yeah,
that I think studios and one bedrooms, there's kind of a big inventory available for short term, right?
yes, yes,
I would guess to
and
say that there's probably more, maybe more families, more couples wanting to stay in larger Airbnbs, and so I can see the appeal that a one bedroom or
yes.
a studio may not be as attractive as an Airbnb or a short term rental, right? As
Mhm.
maybe a larger unit. So I can see your point.
Now, if you want to get into that 8 to 10% ROI on a short-term rental in Tulum, you
Hmm.
have to look at villas, uh, right? Because villas are way more attractive than the studios.
Hmm.
And what people do for these villas, even though they're more expensive, they just gather a group of people and they split the cost for
Correct.
renting that villa.
Right.
And then your occupancy rate goes up, your income goes up, and it's way more profitable. And
Right.
even sometimes this kind of villas, they have a lockup system where you can rent out 2 units as a separate apartment and then rent out the studio at the same time.
Right. I
So
have seen that, and
that's
that's really
yeah,
popular. I
yeah,
think that works because you can offer both. You can, for example, if it's a 3 bedroom villa, right? You can offer one section, a 2 bedroom with its living room and kitchen, and you can lock off the other 1 bedroom studio that has a kitchenette and a restroom and a little living area. So if you
yes.
want to, you could offer it as either a 3 bedroom villa or you can offer it as two different short-term rentals. So that makes total sense. I like that idea.
Yes, yeah, yeah. But let's be honest. I mean, it's not going to be a $250,000 purchase, right?
No, it's not
For
for
this
sure. And
area.
plus you got
Yeah,
to remember too that in my experience, like the 200 to 250, it's typically going to be a 5-10 minute drive from the beach. You're not going to be in the best location. You'll be in the Tulum region or in the Riviera Maya region, but it's going to take you a little bit to get to the beach, right? Because the truth is that
exactly.
in any market, here in the U.S. and
Mhm.
in Puerto Vallarta and Mazatlan, the closer you get to the water, typically the price is going to be a little bit higher.
Definitely. Yeah. Hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about, what type of properties, and I know we've kind of scratched the surface in terms of studios and villas and stuff like that. Yeah, what types of properties are best for short-term rentals?
Yes. We're gonna. I'm just gonna say two properties. You have the studio, and I know I've said there's a lot of studios available, but
Right,
that's what people are looking at.
right.
Most people come here as young people, or also even older people. They just want something affordable for vacation, right?
And you hit it right on the head, right? You said affordable. It's probably the
Yeah,
least resistance in terms of entry point, right? You want to,
exactly.
as an investor, maybe like an investor user, you want to go in and you buy a studio or a 1 bedroom. It's low cost. You want to kind of, put, like we talk about, put your toe in the water a little bit, kind of get a feel for it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then be able to say, okay, this works for me. I like it. Now I need something bigger, and then be able to buy something bigger. So I get it.
exactly. And also when we have to use this kind of how do you say it in English? Reverse engineering when you're purchasing a property for short-term rental here. And this is very important because I know in the United States you have these huge properties, and when you come down to Mexico to purchase one and they're telling you like 37, 42 square meters, that sounds crazy for you, right? That's only
Right,
your bedroom in the United States. But you have to see it as the end user. Who's going to be the end user?
right,
Are they really going to spend time in the unit or in the property? They're not going to spend a lot of time. They're going to use it only for sleep
right,
and to change clothes. That's
right.
it.
That's the
So
truth.
so yeah,
That's the truth. I mean, like you
yeah,
said, you have to have a perspective of, am I going to live in it like full time, or am I buying it as an investment property that I know people? You almost got to look at it as a hotel. How much time do you actually spend
yeah,
in your hotel room? Not much,
yeah.
right? So
Not
you want
really.
to make sure
Yeah.
if you want to go an easy point of entry in terms of cost, and then also
Hmm.
how much more can you get for it, and how many more times can you rent it out, right? Because it's only
Yeah.
short-term rentals. People are looking for the experience of being in a property that's well cared for, that has pools and maybe jacuzzis, some amenities
Yeah.
that they can enjoy, but they don't want to be in a hotel, or they don't want to be in a boutique hotel on the sand for like, $600 a night, right? This might cost them
Exactly.
$100 for the week, but it's going to be a lot less, and they're going to have a really nice quality stay.
Of course. And just for ending about typologies, I want to say the more flexibility you have with your property, the better. So
Right.
as I said, those lockup units, they're great, they're awesome. The more doors you have under the same roof, and a lot of investors from the United States, they understand very well this term, the better is it going to be. So if you have like a dual lock-off, 4 bedrooms, that's amazing. You have 3 properties in one, right? So yeah, it's going to be studios, or the more doors you have, the better it's going to be for you.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about some risks, right? I had someone make a comment on our YouTube channel as they're watching live, that it's a scam. And look, I addressed it. Yeah, it could seem like a scam, and has there been some experiences where people have maybe lost their money? Absolutely. But like I said, the market has changed. I've been in the Mexican real estate market since like the mid 90s. I used to work for a mortgage company that financed properties like in Cabo, Puerto Peñasco, Ensenada, Rosarito, those kind of places. And the truth is that, yeah, there were some risks, but things have changed and everything has a risk. Even here in the US, things have a risk. But our job as professionals is to mitigate those risks for you, understand what those risks are, and provide you as an investor, right, the best information available to you so you make a good decision for you and your investment, right? Obviously, there are some risks, but the more we mitigate them, the more we bring a professional group of people like accountants, attorneys, and professionals like Hector and his real estate company, the less those risks are going to be, and your investment is going to be safe. So I know that people think about that, and I want to appreciate the person who made the comment. I want to say his name was Frankie. Frankie, I get it.
Awesome.
There's some inherent risk, but everything has risk, right? Our job is to provide all the information to minimize those risks, and you can make a good investment on real estate in that region. So thanks for that comment. Let's look at some developments, because I think at this point, people want to see, okay, what can I buy, right? And I know we have about 20 minutes together. I don't want to not have an opportunity to feature some of the developments that you're maybe working with. Let's look at some available developments that you might have available right now. What do you got for us?
Perfect. So I want to start with something that you're not going to see something like this anywhere right now. I'm going to share my screen. It's not going to be here, but let me share my screen very quick. Okay, it's working?
Yep. We've got you on the screen, sharing your screen. Go ahead and open up the window. What do we got here?
Perfect. So Macondo, let me just give a quick intro to this developer. So he's been in the market for more than 10 years. So that's super crucial when we're talking about risk and mitigating those risks, right? So it's number one for me, it's experience. How many years have they worked in the region, and how many developments they have delivered? Because if they just have a bunch of pre-sale developments going on, but they haven't delivered anything, it's like purchasing a car that it has never been built. Like you wouldn't purchase that vehicle, right? You purchase Toyota because
I think that's probably one of the biggest red flags, right? When you have developers that are in pre-sale and they have 5 or 6 developments, but they haven't delivered on their product.
Exactly.
So it's good to know that the developers actually delivered on product, and that provides a sense of surety and security to future investors.
Definitely. So this one is going to be in Mahahual. So we just talked about Mahahual, and I want to show off this amazing development because it's super limited. We're going to talk about the units. I believe it's 17 units, no more than that. So it's super limited.
Okay.
But then the nice thing about Macondo, Mahahual is going to be a beachfront. So it's super scarce to find, like it's super rare to find beachfronts right now in Riviera Maya because everything has been taken. Everything has been taken, right?
And typically taken by commercial developers, right? They want to develop hotels and restaurants. And so if you're beachfront on a residential, let me tell you, it's going to be an opportunity that is far better than none. So tell us a little bit more about it.
So location, Mahahual, it's we already talked about where it not where it is, but what it's in Mahahual right now. But it's going to be 1.5 hours from the airport of Tulum. But that's going to be a driving time right now. So this is actual facts as we speak. But once the Mayan train is going to have the station to Mahahual, it's going to be less time, right?
Gotcha.
We're going to be, here it says 25 minutes from the Mayan train station. So that's super close.
Absolutely.
Then amenities, really, I know you see all these brochures with crazy amenities. For me, the best amenity is the ocean, the culture, the food, and obviously the location, right?
Absolutely. By far, I think the Caribbean waters and that white sand beach, and more importantly, the culture, the experience that you have in those regions, man, people treat you with such
Exactly.
regard and love. They want you to come
Exactly.
back. They treat you like family. Let me tell you, it's so nice.
Definitely. So now this is obviously it's going to be a render. It's going to be delivered 2 years from now, but they released these development 2 weeks ago. So I got the presentation from the in-house developer
Okay.
2 weeks ago, and hence why I'm showing it to you. So now I've seen developments from this developer, and it gets 100% close to what they're showing you in the renders. So it's sometimes they even over delivered based on the renders, right? So
Gotcha.
that's also some super important. As you can see, so the units are going to be in front of the beach, and you open the window from your bedroom, and then you have stairs, some like little wooden stairs, and you're right on the beach, right?
Nice.
It is going to have its own beach club. You're going to have your pool. About typologies, we're going to get there very soon. So this is going to be the pool.
Nice.
Very minimalistic architecture.
I like it.
And then so this for me it's everything, because you're not going to see a unit or a, let's say, a render that is showing you a topology with the ocean right in the front of the
Absolutely, man.
of the unit,
I
right?
would like to say, man, you had me at hello on this one. I mean, look, the steps outside the doors out of the living room is right into the white
Yeah,
sand beach and into the Caribbean water. What an awesome location.
exactly. So this is going to be a studio.
Okay.
Well, I like to call it studio because of the space, but it's more like a studio with a living room. So you have your bedroom. As I said before, it's all about location. It's all about the end user. It's not about, this is not a property that you're going to use to live 12 months out of the year, right? It's
Right.
going to be for the end user. So 55 square meters, and this is going to be the layout.
Awesome.
Now,
What kind of
this is
price
going to
point
be,
are we talking about for this one studio?
so right now, this is the most accessible typology and unit. They're starting around 250, and we're getting there soon to the price
Okay.
point. And if not, I believe it's 250. Now
Okay.
the price, you're telling me, okay, it's a 37 square meter unit for $250,000. Yes, but look at the location, number one. And I'm pretty sure because Mahawal is the future of, this is the last gem of the Riviera Maya. As soon as you get delivered, like your unit delivered, you're going to be easily like 20-25% equity above to what you pay.
Right.
So that's pretty very attractive.
You know, I'm
And
glad
they're
you
going to
mentioned
have,
that because I'm glad you
yeah.
mentioned that because there are some investors that like to purchase in pre-sale. And
Mhm.
sometimes, when other people see those developments and they're already, in second or third phase, um, they're kind of, they regret not buying in the first phase because they don't take participation in that 20 to 25% equity gain once the unit is delivered. So this could be a great opportunity for an investor looking to invest in a small unit to be able to gain a little bit of equity and be beachfront in a development that is just unbelievable.
Exactly. And as you said, it's all about risk, right? A lot of people, they don't get into the families and friends because I mean they're a little bit skeptical, and it's not easy. Myself, I purchased property here, and it's not that easy, right? I'm pretty sure you purchased property, and it's not that easy to let your
Yeah,
money go for something that is not
absolutely
already
not.
built.
You definitely think about it, right? But you want to minimize, you want to make sure there's a return on investment, you're buying a quality product, and there's going to be demand for it, right?
Exactly. So now something that I'm going to show you after is going to be in Tulum, and
Okay.
it's already built. It's already built. So this is not going to be a pre-sale. I mean, I know we will talk about pre-sales and how attractive they are, but this one I want to show it to you and to the audience because even though it's already built and you're paying premium price, you're going to have very good returns on a
Nice.
short-term rental, right?
All
Even
right.
short-term, long-term rental.
All
So
right.
let's
Let's look
show
at it.
it.
Are you going to load it to the screen or is it a part of the
Let
presentation?
me let me share it here very quick.
All right.
So I just needed to open it. Okay.
Okay. Here we are.
So Hamari. So the developer of Mari, he's from Canada actually,
Okay.
and he's done things very well with the development because he's got this outside of it's a different culture. He's from Canada. He's had a different mentality,
Right.
and he's not used to pre-sales. So actually, he didn't use the money from the sales to build it. So he started building first, and then start selling as the construction was moving forward. So that's a very good sign. Right now, I
Absolutely.
think right now there's only 3 units left. From those 3 units, one is ready for delivery, and the other one they're finalizing.
Okay.
So you can actually, this is a property investment that you can actually go see, touch it, smell it. You can stay there if you want. And something very important that I like from this developer is that they're using a lot of eco-friendly features and amenities and very good quality products for the construction, material products. So we're gonna find drinkable tap water. So that when I heard that, that blew my mind, because as you know, in Tulum, we still are working on infrastructure. So
Right.
the fact that you can drink water from the
From the
tap,
tap.
that, I mean, everybody does that in the United States or Canada. That's pretty
Absolutely.
common.
Right. And
Here in Mexico,
that's actually
it's
unheard of,
impossible.
because nowhere in Mexico really can you drink tap water, or at least most regions in
Exactly.
Mexico. So that alone is huge. And then obviously most of these developers, and I think it's good to notate and to mention, is that most of your developers are going to be eco-friendly. They're going to want to build green. They're going to want to have
Yes.
the least amount of carbon footprint into the region, because the attraction to investing and living in those regions is enjoying the natural, fauna of the area, which is, the topography,
Exactly.
the animals, the environment. And so the least amount of impact is something that most developers are doing and considering when building out their developments. And it's good to know that this development, I mean, out of 46 units, to only have 3 left. That shows success.
Yes. Yes.
And to
And
your
as I
point,
said,
I know Frankie mentioned risk. Like this is a developer that started building without having to do any pre-sales, right? He built out of his own pocket and delivered and sold
exactly.
units that were already ready to deliver. So hey, there's what less risk than that, right?
Exactly. And as I said, like, if someone like is super skeptical about pre-sales, you can just come in and stay a few nights and actually experience what it is to own this kind of property, right?
Right.
So besides of being super eco-friendly, I mean, look at the architecture, look at the materials, is just beautiful. You have that combination, chic combination with nature, and also luxury, because now this is not going to be a 43 square meter property. This is going to be a bigger property with
Right.
multiple bedrooms, right?
Right.
This is going to be located in Uptown Tulum. Now,
Okay.
this is not in Region 15, and this is not Region 8, close to the beach. But what I always tell to my buyers is, at the end of the day in Tulum, what you're looking is the green ocean. You're not looking at the actual ocean, because the accessibility and the walkability to the ocean in Tulum, as we all know, is not as in Playa del Carmen, right? You cannot
Right.
actually walk to the beach. You always need transportation to the beach.
Right.
Something nice about this development is that they providing you with free shuttle service to you and your guests. So that,
Nice.
for me, that was the close. Like, it doesn't matter where you are, they're gonna take you to the beach twice a day. So two free shuttles for you and your guests daily. And this is
Nice.
a round trip.
How far
Round
is
trip.
this development from the ocean, just as a perspective?
7 to 8 minutes. So
Not far at
still,
all. And what kind of an
exactly.
entry, what kind of a price point are we looking at when we're looking at something as beautiful as this 3-bedroom villa here?
Yeah, so we have the 2 bedrooms with the option of lock off. So that's if you want to add it or not. But for
Okay.
the 2 bedrooms, turnkey property. So everything you see in the pictures, all the equipment is going to be delivered for $430,000.
How much was that?
And 430.
Okay, so $430,000. But you're talking about
Exactly.
how much living space are you talking about in total?
So we have is going to be, let me show you. It's going to be this one. Give me 1 second. This one. So
Okay.
we have around 2,000 square feet, around that, 1,970 square feet.
I do see that 1,900 square feet. I mean, it's a pretty big property, pretty big space. So it's a good size.
Exactly.
You're talking about
Yes.
pardon me, $430,000 for
Mhm.
almost 2,000 square feet of living space, and you get 2 shuttles
Mhm.
a day to get to the beach.
Yeah.
This one right
Yeah.
here
You have.
shows that it might have a lot more potential for short-term rentals because it's so much larger, right?
It's larger, and as I said, besides of having those the transportation amenities, you also have a beach club access. Also, as you may know, all like most of the access in the beach in Tulum area, it's either private or through hotels, right? So you have to pay to get into this beach. Now, with this developer, you have that access, right off the bat. Now you have a gym, you have cold plunges, you have your private pool. All around this development, it's paved, so you don't have. I mean, it's you have the infrastructure, right? So it's definitely a great option, and they have tracked. They already have tracked numbers and records on our Airbnb of the profitability of these units. So even the ROI that you see here at the end, this is proven. Like they can prove to you that is getting an approximate of 13% ROI from the
Wow,
income that they're getting, right?
that's awesome.
So
I mean,
it
to get
yeah,
an
this
ROI of double
yeah.
digits, that's amazing.
Well, this is for the 3 bedrooms. For the two
Right.
bedrooms, it starts at 10%. So it's still 10%, right?
Still double digits. That's awesome.
Exactly, exactly. So that for me, it's a great opportunity right now. So I don't know how many time you have that we have available.
Yeah, we're coming up on the hour. I think it's time for us to maybe wrap up. I want to first of
Yes.
all thank you for sharing such amazing information about the development, the economic development of the region. Most importantly, some options that maybe investors might have. I know we talked a little bit
Yes.
about risk and mitigating those risks. We talked a little bit
Hmm.
about the purchase power and purchasability. Like entry level could be 250, 200 to $250,000 in different growing areas, and then of course
Hmm.
something as prime as Amari that was 430,000. But as you can see, and
Yeah.
investors can see, there's definitely potential for both long-term rentals and short-term rentals, right?
100%.
I wanted to thank you for spending some time with us, Hector. I'm excited about working together and working as a team to provide more information to our investors. If you guys are interested in knowing more about investing in some of these new developments, maybe some regions that have bigger products to offer you, we have a vast variety of options for you. Reach out to me, send me an email, send me a DM. My number and information is on the banner below. I'll put you in touch with Hector. We'll have a Zoom meeting together, get you as much information into your hands as we can. And more importantly, I'm also partnering with ITA Travel Global, ITA Global Travel, and we're going to be putting together discovery trips based on demand. We want to make sure we have at least 10 or 15 or more investors that are interested in making a little bit of a discovery trip. We can spend about four nights and 3 days to go down there, show you some of the developments, and also give you a night of, to be able to explore some of those regions freely. So we're going to be putting together a package as well. If you guys are definitely interested, reach out, send me a DM. Would love to kind of put you in touch with Hector and maybe have you be one of our guests on our discovery trips. My name is Hector Aguilar. I'm with eXp Realty here in California. This is my colleague Hector Jimenez with eXp Mexico, and we look forward to talking to you in the future and providing you some information about investment opportunities in Riviera Maya. All right, thanks everyone. This has been an episode that's been exciting. I look forward to hosting you all next episode, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
See you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.